up and around getting ready to go to church. And there's another mass shooting over in Texas, 7 dead, 8 wounded, or 8 dead and 7 wounded. Uh, one dead is too many, and we have an issue. And so I want to talk about it because I think I know the answer. I think I know how to fix it. Uh, that doesn't mean it'll ever get fixed, but I think I know how to do it. When I was a kid, I was privileged to grow up in Warren, Pennsylvania, actually in North Warren, Pennsylvania. And the claim to fame of my hometown at that time was the Warren State Hospital. Now, we had this great public school system back then. They made me learn reading, writing, and arithmetic in spite of my efforts not to. It was a different time, and I was a different kind of kid, I guess, and uh, maybe referred to at times as incorrigible. But at any rate, we had it in school, in the high school, it had rifle club, and you'd go to the bus stop on rifle club day. I think it was on Wednesdays, and you go to the bus stop in the morning, and there'd be guys there with their 22 rifles. Get on the school bus, go to school, take them, put them in their wall locker for rifle club after school, and nobody thought a thing about it. And just less than a mile up the street from my house was the Warren State Hospital, and it was an amazing facility. It had a couple thousand patients, I guess, and we had a little community there made up of doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals, and it was a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up. And the Warren State Hospital, the patients kind of took care of the place. They mowed the grass. The grounds were immaculate. It was a beautiful facility. And they had fields of crops, corn and cabbage and green beans, whatever. And the patients worked in the fields. Uh, they were not indentured servants. They were patients being treated. It was good for them to do that. And my grandmother lived just across the field, and there was a fence and then some houses, and across the street was my grandmother's house. And from her upstairs windows, you could look out and see the state hospital. And at night, when we'd stay the night at Grandma's, you could hear the patients over there screaming and carrying on in the one building where they kept the most ill of the most ill. And it was scary to a little kid hearing that over there. And you'd have images of them scaling the fence and coming and running you through a meat grinder or something, them little hand crank things they had back then. But at any rate, the state hospital. And there were no mass shootings back then. It was unheard of. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre, they still talked about it, where 7 mobsters were killed by some other mobsters. And that was a big deal. It wasn't innocent school children or people shopping at a mall. It was bad guys shooting bad guys. Yeah. And that was unthinkable. And I remember Richard Speck. Richard Speck was the guy that killed the student nurses. That piece of human debris that I was privileged to die of old age. Never should have happened. Anyway, when people were crazy back then and dangerous crazy, they had a place to put them. But in the late 60s, Geraldo Rivera came on the scene with video of uh, some lady was chained in the basement and stuff, and how horrible we treat the mentally ill, and how these people were locked up that hadn't done anything wrong. And he was able to get that state hospital system shut down, and all this beautiful property and everything, it all got sold off, and everything changed, and the mentally ill had no place to go. We used to ride our bicycles up there to the state hospital, and we'd see the patients. A lot of them, they could roam the grounds and go out and enjoy the day and what have you. And uh, that they mostly all had this certain look in their eye. And years later, when I was driving the tractor trailer truck, I'd get into the inner city, different places around the country. And those people, the way they wandered around and the look in their eye was just like the state hospital patients, except they didn't have a state hospital. They had a dumpster or a cardboard box or a shopping cart. They didn't have a place to live, a place for their care for, and maybe cured and receiving the drugs they needed to keep from being crazy. And now we have people. There's all the warning signs. I don't know about this guy in Texas yesterday, but I promise you, uh, there were warning signs. The guy was crazy. Sane people don't run around shooting people like that. And it's not the gun's fault. It's the fault of our society not dealing with crazy people in the proper manner. And back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, when I was a kid coming up, uh, they dealt with crazy people. Uh, and they got the care and the medications and what have you that they needed, and they didn't go run around doing mass murders. Those mass murderers out there, they didn't do it because they were treated. And that's what changed. And I know it's a fine line. Uh, I mean, just incarcerating people because they're having mental issues is probably a civil liberties issue. Uh, but in the meantime, uh, we have problems, big problems. I mean, this is tragic. It's unspeakable evil, and we have to fix it. And uh, getting rid of guns is not going to fix it. You only get, if you have a gun turned in, everybody knows the good people, law-abiding citizens will go and turn their guns in, and then only the bad guys will have guns. So, I mean, that's a stupid idea. Uh, Fixing the mentally ill, helping the mentally ill to not be mentally ill anymore, yeah, that would be the cure. Because every one of these shooters that goes out here and does this stuff is a nutcase, and everybody knows it. So, anyway, don't blame the guns. Blame Geraldo Rivera at our crazy system. We have Democrats. I don't mean to turn political on you, but uh, we have issues, and it was born in the Democrat Party. And sorry about that, but that's the truth. And I guess that's it for me. That's what I wanted to say. Was we got to fix this. We got to fix it.